don't blink, because the WNBA's wage war just detonated in prime time, and the shrapnel is still flying. Seconds after clinching the All-Star MVP trophy, Napheesa Collier spun toward the cameras, yanked off her warm-up, and showed the world 4 blazing words stamped across her chest. Pay us what you owe us. In that single breath, the Minnesota Lynx superstar flipped the league's feel-good talent showcase into a frontline pay equity protest. And the bosses seated courtside looked like they'd swallowed their own whistles. Fans inside Gainbridge Fieldhouse went berserk, chanting, "Pay them, pay them," so loud the broadcast truck's audio meters screamed red. Twitter imploded, ESPN anchors froze mid-sentence, and Commissioner Kathy Engelbert's grin tightened faster than a double-team trap. What was supposed to be a sparkle-dripped celebration instantly morphed into the grimiest salary showdown in women's sports, and Collier was done playing nice. Here's the pregame you need to understand why that shirt hit like a buzzer beater. The WNBA's current collective bargaining agreement, the dusty rulebook that dictates everything from meal stipends to charter flights, expires on October 31st, 2025. Players have begged for an honest revenue split for years, but the league kept shifting the goalposts like a shady ref. Sure, salaries doubled back in 2020, but the Supermax still tops out around $250,000, while benchwarmers in the NBA chew $50 million contracts like bubblegum. Team salary caps? A laughable $1.46 million for the entire roster. That's 9 women splitting barely more than one NBA rookie's signing bonus. Some NBA teams spend more on post-game churros. Collier, a 2-time Olympian and new mom, has clocked these numbers for years. She tried polite Zoom calls, data decks, hashtags, even best-selling jersey sales. Nothing budged. So when the All-Star spotlight beamed onto Indianapolis, she hatched a plan to yank the conversation out of sterile boardrooms and plant it smack in the middle of the league's glitziest party. She phoned veteran point guard Natasha Cloud, Venmoed a local printer, and overnighted 24 boxes stuffed with matte black tees, bold orange letters, no sponsor logos, no league badge, just the demand. By Saturday's shoot-around, Cloud was handing out stacks of shirts from a duffel like contraband candy. If even one All-Star balked, the stunt was off. Not a single player blinked. Tip-off arrived, and social feeds detonated. Sports finance nerds life-calculated wage gaps in real time. Celebs from Patrick Mahomes to Megan Rapinoe posted side-by-side paycheck memes. Even Steph Curry joked that NBA players might be underpaid too. Cue the side-eye emojis. But the real fireworks hit post-game. Collier dropped 28 points, snagged 11 boards, and iced the MVP. Engelbert stepped out with the Crystal Trophy, camera lenses telescoped, and the chance turned into an earthquake. Collier flashed the shirt, draped an arm around rookie Caitlin Clark, also wearing the tee, then leaned into the mic. "We love this league, but love doesn't pay the bills. If record ratings won't move the needle, maybe a little spotlight will." Mic drop, the building shook. Rewind a month and you'll see why the front office is sweating through designer blazers. League revenue is in the best shape of its 29-year life. National broadcasts up 40% year over year, sold-out arenas from Seattle to Brooklyn, merchandise sales smashing every internal record, and a looming media rights deal rumored to cross the billion-dollar mark. Money is pouring in like Gatorade in June, yet players still hustle overseas every winter to bank 6-figure checks, shredding knees on plastic courts and missing birthdays back home. If the product is strong enough for billion-dollar TV deals, it's strong enough for billion-dollar payrolls, Collier said on a podcast that looped millions of times on TikTok. Inside secret bargaining sessions last month, league negotiators floated a generous 8% salary cap bump plus a cosmetic travel stipend. Players countered with a 50-50 revenue split, full-season charter flights, and a league-funded childcare program. Not even the same ballpark. Word leaked that one finance officer mocked the proposal as fantasy basketball. That smirk reached Collier's group chat, and the fuse was lit. Her life doesn't fit neat-line items anymore. She's 29, married, raising a toddler with a travel nurse schedule. Overseas gigs aren't cute European adventures. They're missed first steps and FaceTime bedtime lullabies. So she pulled in veterans like Breanna Stewart and rookies like Angel Reese to orchestrate the All-Star ambush. The mission, convert a single. Televised moment into months of public pressure. Halfway through the weekend, the plot thickened. Investigative reporters uncovered internal emails showing league marketers tossing around the idea of selling official pay-us shirts. Yep, profiting on the very slogan aimed at their own paywall. The irony practically slam dunked itself. At least one major apparel partner swallowed hard and threatened to withdraw next season's warm-up deal if the league looked tone-deaf. Suddenly, that 8% raise looked like pocket lint compared to potential lost millions in sponsorship. Then came the leak that blew the lid off. A whistleblower dropped spreadsheets proving the WNBA had already crossed revenue triggers that should unlock a 40% player share. Except those triggers were indexed to 2019 numbers and hobbled by pandemic clauses so sneaky they felt cartoonish. Translation: players crushed the targets, but because the 2020 bubble season lacked ticket sales, the league claims they're still short. Moving the goal line after the play is dirty basketball, Cloud tweeted, and 60,000 retweets agreed. Social media became a courtroom. Players posted side-by-side receipts. NBA Finals charter flights cost less than 2% of league revenue. WNBA charters would cost just 5%. We're not asking for yachts, Aja Wilson quipped on Instagram Live while boarding yet another 5 a.m. commercial puddle jumper. We're asking not to nap beside the drink cart. Comments exploded with fans pledging merch boycotts until revenue sharing becomes real. Sponsors love empowerment stories, but they hate headlines painting them as villains. The optics of multimillionaire owners sweating on the Jumbotron while 16,000 fans chant, "Pay them?" Brutal. Insider whispers say at least one ownership group is now willing to triple the salary cap if charter costs are pooled league-wide. Money talks, and the players just cranked the volume. Collier kept stoking the blaze. She live-streamed from the team bus, daughter Mila bouncing on her lap, explaining how childcare and rent devour half a Minnesota paycheck even before taxes. She pointed the lens at first-year guard Dorka Juhasz, who, despite being top 10 in jersey sales, sleeps 2 to a hotel room on road trips. The raw honesty hit harder than any slick promo. Fans saw themselves in the grind. Meanwhile, Engelbert's PR machine pumped out statements praising open dialogue and touting historic growth. Players fired back with screenshots captioned, "Growth without distribution is just inflation." They launched a hashtag 9FullCourtFairness that trended worldwide for 19 straight hours. Data trackers clocked more engagement for the protest than all 3 prior All-Star games combined. The mid-video reveal lands right here, and trust me, it's nastier than elbows in the paint. An anonymous operations exec leaked a memo outlining contingency plans for a lockout if players refuse a deal by September. The document detailed potential scab tournaments, a media spin playbook, and influencer outreach to frame players as greedy. When that file surfaced on Reddit, the narrative shattered. Overnight, fan sentiment swung even harder toward the players, and brand managers ran crisis control fire drills. Players seized the moment. Collier hopped on national radio and dropped this grenade. If they think they can replace us, go ahead and try. Ratings won't follow, sponsors won't follow. The momentum we built lives with the women wearing those jerseys, not the people writing tiny checks. Sports talk shows looped the quote for 48 hours. The league's next chess move? Announce incremental wins. A pilot charter program for the semifinals, vague performance-based bonuses, and a buzzy partnership with a fintech app offering instant paycheck advances, missing the point entirely. Players clapped back. Advances aren't income. Bonuses aren't equity. Comments were merciless. Behind closed doors at the All-Star Hotel, the WNBA gathered every player for an emergency huddle. Phones in a lockbox, no recording. Collier reportedly said, "If they stall, we walk. We've got the audience, we've got the merch, and we've got the receipts. They need us more than we need them." Applause shook the ballroom walls. Even rookies who'd never attended a CBA negotiation felt the shift. This wasn't a plea, it was a promise. By Monday morning, pundits compared the brewing standoff to the 1999 NBA lockout and the U.S. women's soccer equal pay fight, warning that the WNBA, perched at its popularity peak, could lose everything or gain everything depending on how this gamble lands. Economists crunched numbers on cable news. A 2-week strike could cost the league $30 million in ad inventory. But capitulating might spark a golden era of women's hoops, unlocking sponsorship categories still untapped. Fans debated it like a Marvel plot twist. All the while, Collier stayed cool and strategic. She retweeted fan art, highlighted small market players' struggles, and kept the conversation collective, not just stars chasing a bag. She reminded everyone that rookies earned barely $75,000 and split meal per diems. She name-dropped assistants who coach AAU in the off-season just to cover rent. The narrative stayed human, relatable, impossible to spin as greed. By week's end, the league finally blinked, announcing a listening tour where execs would visit every locker room. Players RSVP'd with a mosaic photo, all 12 teams holding shirts aloft. Caption: Don't listen, act. 1 million likes in 4 hours. ESPN landed the first joint sit-down with Engelbert and Collier on a tense split screen. Asked whether a lockout was possible, Engelbert offered, "We're confident we'll find common ground." Collier, calm as a corner 3. Common ground starts with common sense. The clip went viral before the segment even finished. 5 days post-protest, every bootleg PST sold out. Vintage resellers flipped shirts at triple price. Union printers said they hadn't seen demand like this since the first Women's March. Momentum was officially a runaway freight train. So where does that leave us? The calendar keeps ticking. The next bargaining session is August 12th in Manhattan. Players will arrive with those tees under blazers. Sponsors will hover with white-knuckle folders. Fans, they're ready to chant on courthouse steps if necessary. Either the league writes the check, or the stars take their talents to the picket line. Charter flight companies have empty schedules penciled in September if games go dark and players launch their own pay equity barnstorm tour across Europe or Asia, an idea that's gaining steam in every group chat. Remember history. Back in 1997, when the original barnstorming tours laid the groundwork for this league, crowds packed college gyms just to watch Cynthia Cooper and Cheryl Swoops tear up exhibition defenses. Today's stars could revive that magic with social media rocket fuel. Picture Angel Reese live streaming warm-ups on TikTok, Caitlin Clark drilling threes in Madrid, and Collier narrating the chaos on Instagram Live. Sponsors would happily chase them across oceans, broadcasters would pony up per-stream rights, and the league office would watch leverage evaporate with every sold-out foreign arena. In other words, the power isn't just in union bylaws, it's in the fans who will follow talent wherever the game goes. Nightmare fuel for owners, sweet dreams for player leverage. Here's the closing whistle. Nafisa Collier just played the gutsiest fourth quarter of her career, and she didn't need a basketball to do it. She turned a corporate pep rally into a tidal wave of public support and forced every sponsor, every TV analyst, every casual fan to pick a side. Judging by the roar echoing across social media and through the stands, the crowd isn't just picking, they're screaming. Villain thought they'd silence Hero, but ended up destroying their own legacy instead.